In this video, I'm going to discuss a concept from React, that is CSS modules. We'll see what is CSS modules and how it works, how we can use it in our React project. Let's get started. So, what is CSS module? CSS module. It is simply a CSS file. It is a CSS file with extension of .module .css. So it is nothing new thing, and it is only a CSS file, but instead of extension of .css alone, it has extension of .module .css. And how it works, so here the styles are styles that we used with the CSS module. These styles are locally scoped. Locally scoped means locally scoped to what? To component in which we are using it. And here locally scoped refers to that it is accessible inside that component only. These styles will not be accessible outside a particular component in which we are using it. So it basically eliminates the concern of clashing of class names. You must have seen that in our CSS file, if there is very big project, then class names do collide. These causes conflicts, and with which our desired result is not visible. So we use CSS module. With the use of CSS modules, this problem eliminates. So what is the third point? It prevents conflicting of styles. Styles due to same class name. So this is its biggest advantage, that it's avoid the conflicting of styles. And another advantage is that it is usable. We can create it for one component and we can use it again and again with any number of components. All right, so let me show you with a small example in a React project. So this is the theory part. Now let's do practical, how we can create CSS module and use it. So I have already created a React project here with npx create react app and deleted some of its file which I'm not going to use. So I have only kept this index.js which is rendering this app component. Now let's create this app component. So I am creating a file app.js for creating this app component, and in this file I will import React from React, and then I will create a functional component. Before creating a functional component, I am export it also. So export default function, that is going, its name is going to be app. Now what we do in functional component, we return the JSX which we want to render. So I have returned it here. It will contain React fragment, and inside it I'm going to create two boxes with divs, which later I'm going to style with our CSS module. So first div, it is also containing another div. Alright, now let's create a CSS file which is going to be CSS module. As we have discussed, we will name it with the suffix of .module.css. So the name is style and its extension is .module.css. Yes, we have created it. So how we are going to code inside this .module.css file? We are going to code as we code our normal CSS file. So we'll be using here selectors, and inside selectors we'll be using properties. as we normally do in a CSS file. So let us assume that we are going to give this outer box a class name of outer box, and inner box will give a class name of inner box, and we'll style it with the same class name. So I'm creating here a selector with class name of outer box and dot inner box. Now if we want to use it in our app, then we have to import this CSS module. How we'll import? Using import, and then we have to name an object, and I'm naming it as style, then from file name dot slash name of our file, that is style dot module dot css. Now you may ask me that why I have written here the style. So you know that while importing there are two types of exports, default export and named export. So what it does is that module CSS module implicitly exports a default export that we are going to keep in a object. So the name of the object will be style in this case, and you can see here that I am not going to export anything by myself. So CSS module itself exports a object, and I have imported it like this, as we do in the case of default exports, and it is get exported into this style object. Now what happens is that CSS module creates object, and all these class names will be made the properties of that object. So if we are going to use that class names, we have to use it with the reference name of its object. Like this, we'll write class name, and we'll not use double quotes. Instead we are going to use curly braces, and here we will write the object name, then its property, that is these class names that we have mentioned here, that it is outer box in the case of this div. So outer box. So I have done as we usually do with any object, that object name dot its property name, key name. So here key will be outer box, our class name which we have mentioned in our CSS file. Yes, now we'll do similar with our inner box. We'll write its class name as style dot inner box. All right, now let's style them. Let us give it some height, say 90 VIH, and width as 90 VW, and some color so that it can be visible on our screen. And I will give it my favorite color, cadet blue. Now let us see if it is visible in the browser. So there is some error, let us see. So I have deleted index.css and it is imported here, so I have to remove it. Now let us see. Yes, it is showing our box with cadet blue color, and it is having height and width as 90% of the viewport height. All right, now I have given some CSS properties to the outer box. Similarly, let's give some CSS properties to the inner box. Let's give it a height of half of its parent and width of half of its parent. It is going to be 50%. Now let us give it some background color. Let's say some greenish color, green yellow. And is it visible? Yes, it is visible. Now let's bring it to the center of outer box. So for doing this, we know that we have to make the display of parent box as flex, and as what? Justify content center and align item center. Yes, now it is in the center. So the main motive of this video was to show how we are going to use CSS module. So the two different thing that we have, new thing that we have done here is that we have named it in a different way, that is we have used .module.css. and in what are the new things we have done in app.js, we have imported it like this, and we have given class names in curly brackets with the help of style object, and we can name it any this style as anything, and we'll use our class name as the properties of this object. We can name it like this also. I am removing e, and it should work. Yes, it is working. Now let us see here the elements here in the browser. Now see, focus here. What is the class name of this outer div? It is style underscore outerbox underscore ettul. So it is the name which we have not given. It is given by CSS module, and it is given as such. It remains unique. So see, a unique number is given at the end, and in inner box also a unique number, alphanumeric number, is added at the end with underscore, so that it remains unique. We usually don't give class names like this, so it will remain unique, and these styles and properties will be locally scoped to the component with which we are using, and here in our case we are using it with app component. So this style will remain with app only. There will be no conflict of styles. So hope you understood what is CSS module, how it works, and what are the new changes we have to make to use CSS modules, and what are its advantages. If you like this video, you can consider subscribing my channel, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.